What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an awesome collab with Rohde Fab. Jake, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but if you're not familiar with Rohde Fab, he's been doing custom parts for the Mazda B series, Nissan Hardbody, and a couple other trucks. So definitely check out his website if you're thinking about picking up some parts. I'm sure he can do some custom work for you as well if you need it. But today we are going to have a video on the door panels for the B series. Now he has a couple designs and a couple other options that you can get, such as door pulls and whatnot. And today we have the parallelogram design. Sorry, it's a tongue twister for sure. We also with some trapezoid pulls. Now I went with the non-drill version and with the non-hardware version. You can definitely pick up those options if you want to on his store. But we are going to be using kind of the similar setup we had before with my door panels, which is using the dress-up bolts that I have. So I'm very excited about opening this up. It's been a long time coming. Me and Jake have been talking for quite a while about doing a collab, and I'm glad finally it's been time to do it. So hopefully we're gonna have a couple more videos on his parts later in the channel here. But today let's open the box and see what I got going on right here. And then we're gonna move on to the truck and show you what I got. Now I do have speakers on my truck, which we're not able to kind of make them work with the design that we were thinking about here. So keep that in mind, but I'm very excited. This should go on there super nice, so let's get to work. And this is one of the little details that Jake adds to all his boxes that I think is awesome. And check it out, guys. Here we have the passenger door panel. It looks awesome. This is, again, the parallelogram design. He does have a couple other designs if you don't like this style. Now, it is bare metal, so definitely recommend you get it painted, powder coated, maybe vinyl wrapped some way that you can protect this panel. Or if you're gonna run it like this, you might have to give it constant care. We might rock it like this for a little bit, but again, I wouldn't recommend on the long term. Now, here are some of the other things that I got. We have the spacer for the door latch, and then we also have the door pulls here. Now, these are the ones with the trapezoid design again. I felt like this design would match the parallelogram the best. And then he also included some stickers and keychains, so big shout out to Jake, thanks for that. So definitely check him out here at rohdefab.com if you wanna pick up any of the stuff you see right here. Hey guys, so I just wanna elaborate a little bit on that promo code you might have seen on the screen. That promo code is only gonna be valid for 1 month. So from the moment this video posts until a month from now, you're gonna be able to save 10% discount at rohdefab.com. Big shout out to Jake for giving us that promo code. So if you guys are waiting to pick up a set of the door panels, now is the time to do so. Go over to rohdefab.com, use the promo code Flake Garage, and then you're gonna be able to save 10%. So let's go on with the video. So here we are looking at the passenger door, and you can kind of see my current door panel. It's not necessarily terrible, it's not bad, it's worked for a couple years. But now because I'm switching more into a black and red interior, if you can see here with my carpet and seats and whatnot, this does not match as well as it used to back when I used to have the bench and stuff. Now, one thing, as you notice, I do have a speaker here, and the new panel does not have a speaker hole. So we do need to move that kind of to the inside of the truck. I did go back and forth with Jake to see if we could maybe implement the speaker here into the panel. But honestly, because there's not a lot of great backing on the door itself, my speaker is mainly being held by the panel here since it's made of wood. I didn't want to kind of make Jake modify his design and offer something that might give you guys trouble later, because it's hard to know what speakers people are using, what size they're using, where exactly in the panel it is. And again, the actual panel, it's a lot thinner than my wood one here, so it might give you trouble trying to hold the speaker all in weight versus what I have right now in place. Now, another area you are gonna have to modify as well is gonna be your door pull, especially if you go like the ones we have, the trapezoid ones. You cannot use your factory one with this new panel. You do have to move it a little bit closer in, make some new holes, and then adapt the new door pull in place. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna go ahead and remove our speaker, our door panel, door pull, everything else here out of the way so we can clean up behind this. I'm sure it's dirty out there. I haven't removed these panels in a while. Remove any residue and everything. All right, my guys, we have removed the door panels, and I want to show you here my driver's side just a little bit because this one does have a lot more of this residue from the plastic. If you do have it, I definitely recommend you remove that, and it is a pain in the ass to remove it. I feel like I was Spider-Man fighting off Venom on this. As I was trying to take all this goo, it was getting stuck to my gloves, fingers, and everything. So yeah, you are gonna have to remove that Clean it up as best as you can. If your plastic is intact, then I would say don't mess with it, leave it as is. Just make sure you have your new holes in place. But mine was completely torn up already anyway, so you can see we have a mess over there too. Pretty bad, so I did have to remove it as I'm gonna add some new sound deadening into the panel. That's another thing I want to talk about here. Let me jump over to the passenger side. Now here, my passenger door, you can see that the black residue came off a lot nicer. I did have a little bit more plastic to pull on, and it wasn't as caked on as the driver's side. But again, we still try to remove as much possible as we can. We came in and cleaned the panel as well. It was a little bit dirty. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start trying to mark up and get my holes lined up for here. The sound deadening I'm gonna add, initially I was gonna add it to the door itself, but honestly that's gonna be a pain in the ass as well. And I'm sure it'll probably do a better job being on the door panel or on the door itself versus the door panel, but we're just gonna add it to the door panel here in a little bit later. So here I'm gonna use my own door panel and mark all the spots that I have right now for the bolts. I'm gonna try to get it as close as I can before I drill anything, and then go ahead over there to the door and try to match it up over there as well. So this is gonna be our guide. If you don't have a panel like this, then I would definitely recommend you take your time, measure, try to mark as best as you can on the door and on the panel here before you actually drill anything. And if you are like me and you are using some dress-up bolts, then you do have a little bit of forgiveness if the hole is just a little bit to the side or anything, because that dress-up bolt kind of covers it. If you're not, if you're going with something else, then definitely measure 2 or 3 times before you cut anything into the panel itself. All right, guys, so we used my panel here and we marked up basically where my bolts are right now. I'm pretty sure we are right on the money because my panel is basically the exact same size as this, so that was a lucky thing for me. Now, another thing we do need to do is make some new holes for the door pulls. The factory ones are not gonna line up with this. So let me just go ahead and move to the truck and I'll show you. And then right here on the truck, you can already see I did some dots here. This has to be 1.125 further in. So you're gonna have to do 2 of them. We are gonna use some rivet nuts here just to add our dress-up bolts as well on this part. And then we're gonna remove these little plastic tabs so it doesn't interfere with the new panel. All right, my guys, I've done all the holes here needed for the door panel. Now, I definitely wasn't perfect the first time, but like I said, at least for me, since I'm using dress-up bolts, they do give you a little bit of leeway. They are a little bit forgiving. This one, you can kind of tell I had to extend it a little bit here towards the right. I mean, on this corner, I had to extend a little bit higher because the bolt wasn't lining up there. Same thing on this corner. Going off of my template was almost like 85% there. There's a few of them that were right on the money, like the center one here, the 2 on the top, but the rest of them were definitely a little off. But at least once we have this one template, we can pull out the other side, copy where all the other ones are, because we have the exact same spots for the door side, and then we should be good. Now, I also do recommend, and I know Jake from Rohde recommends that you paint this, wrap it, do something to protect it because it scratches super easily, and I can confirm that. This thing scratches so easy if you look at it the wrong way. So I'm definitely gonna have to paint that. Check it out, guys. I also have drilled the 2 new holes for the new door handles. We have our rivet nuts in place. I've been using this tool, got it on Amazon, super cheap. Same thing with this kit, got it from Amazon as well. I'll link you guys on the bottom if you guys want to pick it up. It has been super helpful. That's how I've done all of the other bolts here on the trailer and other areas. So it has been an investment that has been worth it, at least for me. Check it out, guys. So here we are looking now at the passenger door, and then you can see how awesome this looks. It looks great, right on place. I'm using the same amount of bolts that I used before with my other panel. We added 2 extra ones here for the door pull. And I do think the next step is gonna be to get this painted. We're just gonna go ahead and fast forward until I have this painted. Psych, they are actually right now at the powder coating place. So while I'm waiting for those to get powder coated, we do still have the issue of the speaker that I had on my door. I have my cables running here into the inside of the door. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and come up with a solution for that, so that when I get my panels back, I can just put the panels in place and then not worry about the speaker. So let's move over there to the table and then I'll show you what I got for that. And here we have it, guys. We got the panels back from powder coating, and we went ahead and got a satin black finish on it. I didn't want to go with a glossy because I didn't want to be too shiny, but I didn't want to go with a matte finish either because I did want a little bit of shine, so when the light hits it right, it should look pretty good, but it shouldn't be blinding us inside of the truck, hopefully, as we're driving around during the day. So I think this is going to be perfect. Same thing with the handles. We went with also a satin black on them. And now all we got to do is just flip them, make sure we add some sound deadening into them. We want to make sure we don't have any rattles and everything. So we're going to go ahead and flip them and put them on there. And what I'm going to be using today is called Noiko Black 80 mil sound deadening material. This is the exact material I use when I install my carpet. I have it all over my truck, and it definitely helps with some road noise. So I'm hoping it's going to help here on the panels. Check it out, guys. So we have now added the sound deadening to the back of the door. The good thing is that one of the sheets, if you get this one specific type of sound deadening, pretty much covers 90% of the door panel here. And then you'll just need a little piece right here towards the end. And then what I did is I just went and covered all of it. Then I flipped it, poked the holes from the front on all the spots where I'm gonna have to put a bolt. And then just got close up here and cut it just nice and neat, and then pressed it again with my little sound deadening press here. You can kind of see my other one here also is nice and cut out. Same thing for the door. If you do it as soon as you're kind of putting this down, it won't be super stuck in there. You'll be able to cut it around and pull it off nicely. Yeah, so I recommend you do that all at one time instead of just putting this and coming back to it later or something. So outside of that though, we are looking good here. We just need to do this same process into the other door panel, and then we'll be ready to put it on the doors. All right, my guys and girls, we have finally done the sound deadening on the driver's side as well as the passenger side over there. So what we're gonna do now is move on to the truck and start putting the panels in place. They should be all good to go. Check it out, everyone. We have added the panel in here and it looks awesome. We have it all black. We did a pinstripe right here in the center. This is just some pinstripe tape and it worked out great. We swapped also our window cranks to a set of black ones with some chrome in it to match our chrome handle and the little bit of chrome that I kind of left up here in this piece. I did that on purpose. I wanted to match it in there. We have our dress-up bolts all around on the handle. I think it looks great compared to my other set, and it's also a little bit lighter. We did add some weight with the sound deadening, but it is a little bit lighter than it was with the whole wooden set and speaker in place. And if you're wondering what happened to the speaker, you can kind of see down here, we have moved the speaker into the kick panels here. Look at that. I think it's gonna look awesome. The only one we couldn't fill up was this. I had to see if I can have a plug or something that we can put in here, but everything up here, over there, and then right here in the bottom is gonna be held in place without issues. And then same thing on the passenger side. Let me jump over. And check it out, guys. Here on the passenger side, we have pretty much also added all our red accents. We have the black window crank. We have our pinstripe right here in the center. It looks great. I know here, obviously the camera might not be picking up the shapes of the parallelograms, but they are there. In the daylight, they'll look a lot better as well. And then same thing, we move our speaker right here to the inside, so we don't have to worry about having it in the door. Now, I would say don't be as impatient as I was trying to get this done and grab it before it's fully dry. Otherwise, you're gonna leave some prints in there like I did a little bit. But this honestly is an awesome set of door panels. I think it looks better than mine. It definitely is a little bit easier to put on and take off. They are super easy to scratch off, to make sure you painted them or get them coated or something. And even with the coating, you gotta be careful. Sometimes if you kind of hit it on the right spot, it might still crack. So beware of that. So there you have it, guys. That's how the door panels came out on my Mazda B2000. I think they look awesome. If you go about it the same way that I did, it will be a little bit forgiving, especially if you mess up with the drill a little bit. So that is a plus about going with the dress-up bolts here. But if you go about it a different way, just make sure you're kind of measuring a couple times before you do that first drill.
because you cannot put material back on it. Outside of that though, if you've been waiting to pick up a set of this ones, now is the time. Make sure you're using that promo code FlakeGarage. Save yourself 10% on this. Again, that'll only be valid for 1 month since the posting of this video. But if you grab one, again, you'll save 10%. So that's awesome. And you'll also be supporting the mini truck community by supporting Jake at Rohde Fab, who's been making parts for Mazda's, Nissan's hard bodies and everything. And I think that's awesome, being able to give back to other community members in here. So again, thank you so much for watching. That's really all I have for today. So if you like what I'm doing, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts on the door panels in here, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.